why did you feel like there was a need for a tool like that?
Okay, interesting. So it's a pandemic baby, one of the ones that came out of the pandemic. But of course, me being the eternal optimist, looking ahead, thinking I've come out of leases before, and provided the building's in a good location and it's got good amenities and you're paying the right rent, you should have no problem renting, re-renting that space. And guess what? I was wrong for a while. And the lockdown came, the staff went, and I'm left with about 1,800 square feet, $1 million liability where you could kick a football, or as I call it, a soccer ball, from one end of the office to the other without hitting anyone. Overwhelmed by the multi-million-dollar buildings that are listed for sale when you only have a little space. So that's what started the thinking. And then the thinking led to more thinking, which led to action, which led to output, which led to many changes and more changes, which led to SoCommercial.com, the site that exists today. Before Airbnb, what was the value of a spare bedroom?
No value. Storage.
Okay. And what's the value of Airbnb today? 47, I think 47 billion, something. It's a lot of zeros. It's a lot of numbers. So the question I have for you is, what is the value of all the unmonetized space, bits of space, and spare space in the commercial sector? You look after the listing, you control the monetization, you control every aspect of the listing. So you could say Monday you can choose the hours, 9 and 4, come in for co-working. So there are so many different ways you can monetize space using our platform. And that's where I came to when I started the business.
Oh, that's amazing. I have so many questions. I don't even know where to start. So
You
how
see,
long did it
you
take?
weren't sure. You weren't sure. You're like,
Right.
wow, is this going to fit? Oh, I do have a jingle. We've got a great jingle. Should I play it to you or not? I don't know whether I should play it. Is it a secret? We haven't even launched it yet. Should I
Sure.
play you the jingle? No, I always say the jingle is more catchy than the flute.
Steve Taylor, welcome to Real Estate Development Land to Legacy. This
Thank
episode
you.
is going to be a little bit different. We're going to talk about what we do with real estate after we develop it and how we could monetize it. And Steve's got a cool little tool that he developed. So, Steve, welcome. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit about what you do?
Fine. Thank you very much for the intro. I started a business called SoCommercial. You can find it on SoCommercial.com. It's a platform to list any type and size of commercial space. And you're able to monetize spaces that traditionally are not easily monetizable on the traditional listing sites.
Cool. And why did you feel like there was a need for a tool like that?
Okay, interesting. So it's a pandemic baby, one of the ones that came out of the pandemic. So around February the 16th or 15th, I think it was, 2020, I signed a 5-year lease. And the landlord said to me, do you want any breaks in it? Now, people whose memories can stretch back that far, because a lot of the world has changed, the commercial real estate market was frothy, it was bubbly, and rents were only going seemingly one way, which was up. So I, in my infinite wisdom, said, thank you very much, but no thank you. I will take a 5-year straight lease.
That was a month before the lockdown.
Just before the lockdown. Now, any genius would have gone, maybe that's not a great idea to do. But of course, me being the eternal optimist, looking ahead, thinking I've come out of leases before, and provided the building's in a good location and it's got good amenities and you're paying the right rent, you should have no problem re-renting that space. And guess what? I was wrong for a while. And the lockdown came, the staff went, and I'm left with about 1,800 square feet, $1 million liability where you could kick a football, or as I call it, a soccer ball, from one end of the office to the other without hitting anyone. Not a great feeling. I then went to all the brokers at the time, and of course they said, are you insane? It's like, we're like Eskimos, he needs more ice. I'm like, yeah, I get it, but mate, I've got some ice and I need to sell it. So I have a problem. So the entrepreneurial brain in me kicked in, went to the various traditional listing sites, listed it myself, and got nowhere. And it really started, well, hang on, there should be an easy access, Craigslist style, Facebook market style for a home for commercial spaces, not like the corporate traditional market, something a bit different, something easier, less frightening, stroke corporate to use. So if you've got a little space, you don't feel overwhelmed by the multi-million-dollar buildings that are listed for sale when you only have a little space. So that's what started the thinking. And then the thinking led to more thinking, which led to action, which led to output, which led to many changes and more changes, which led to SoCommercial.com, the site that exists today.
Interesting. Interesting. So before SoCommercial, what route would you go, or which websites did you use or services did you use to list it?
Okay, so I looked at a couple of the big names, and I actually listed the floor itself, and it was a combination of I found it clunky, I found it difficult, I didn't like the listing experience, I thought it was expensive, and I thought I can do this differently and better. So that's what led me to start this. And then, of course, you start with one idea, which was originally, can you put a lease on there? To actually, what about every and any type of commercial space? Because if you think of Airbnb, and let me ask you a question. Before Airbnb, what was the value of a spare bedroom?
No value. Storage.
Okay. Okay. And what's the value of Airbnb today? 47, I think 47 billion, something. It's a lot of zeros. It's a lot of numbers. So the question I have for you is, what is the value of all the unmonetized space, bits of space and spare space in the commercial sector?
I mean, that's a great question. What is it? The thing with
Yeah.
real estate, with commercial real estate, is it's a. I always think about it as a supply and demand thing, and I tend to think that real estate is fairly elastic, and if there's demand, then people will find it. But I think you're about to tell me that it's not really that elastic, and people don't know where to look.
So let me before I answer that question, let me give you
Okay.
another question. Let me give you another question, but then we'll answer that question. So you have, let's go a warehouse, and you have, I don't know, 20% of that warehouse with unused racks or pallet space. How are you letting the market know that you have space that you could rent or space that is unused for storage? Or let's go something even more different. You have a retail space and you have your basement where only half the basement is being used for storage, and you think I could use that for someone else's storage. Or you have a retail store where the store's not doing that well, and you think actually I would like a collaboration. Where are you going to put that in? Or let's go again. You have a barber shop, a beauty salon, or a medical center, and you have a spare chair, a spare room, or a spare office, and you say, actually, I would like to monetize this space. Let's go smaller. So you have a gas station, or as I call it, a petrol station. Um, and inside there, you have, let's say, 6 square feet of potential storage, not or storage, but display space. And you say, actually, I've got a display that now no longer fits purpose. I want to monetize that space. I have a hole in the floor, not literally, but a hole in the retail floor, income floor, and I'd like to fill it. Where are you listing that space? And that's where I came to, and that's where I came about, and that's what started the journey, and that's where we are today, to be able to release these, in addition to whole spaces, buildings and warehouses and land and all the wonderful traditional, regular commercial assets that are for rent or for sale, but mixing those alongside the hybrid fractional market. And I'll give you another example. Let's say you have a restaurant and your restaurant is not busy certain hours of the day of the week. We give you an ability to monetize those hours by turning them into a co-working space, for example. So you'd list the space. You'd say, you choose everything. We don't take fees. We are a straight listing platform. You look after the listing. You control the monetization. You control every aspect of the listing. So you could say Monday you can choose the hours, I don't know, 9 and 4 come in for co-working. So there are so many different ways you can monetize space using our platform. And that's where I came to when I started the business.
That's amazing. I I have so many questions. I don't even know where to start. So,
You
how
see,
long did it
you
take?
weren't sure. You weren't sure. You were like,
Right.
"Wow, is this going to fit in?" I'm not sure. Now you're like, "Oh, okay, I see this."
Well, my entrepreneurial brain is now kicking, and I'm like, man, what is it going to cost to even build a site like that, just from technical standpoint? But then the biggest part of it
Oh,
is
don't
marketing it.
remind me. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, please. I thought it was going to be
I
painful.
bet
Now,
I bet you underestimated that one.
oh, if I had an exposed nerve and you were twisting that nerve now, that's how this feels. Yeah, listen, everyone said to me, you'd be crazy to start it, so I started it. Everyone said to me, you're going to find it impossible, so I tried to make it possible. And then people say to me, how easy is this, your journey? Because obviously, as you correctly identify, any marketplace, you need the lookers and you need the listers. But because of the wonderful work that I've done with some of my team, I don't take personal credit for that. We are being found on ChatGPT and other AI search engines, as well as Google. So we're getting listings now from places that we didn't already have for people that want to list different space. Plus, the other thing I made very easy, and I'll come back to answer your question in a second, was the lookers. Because you need two sides. As you say, you need the marketplace. In any business, it's one and done. You have a product, you have a customer, you make a sale. Here, we're not selling anything because it's all free to list, which comes back to the money point in a second. Um, and so people can register what they want to find very easily on the Find It For Me option. So you say, I'm looking for, fill out the form, and then the market and the community looks at what that is. And I'll give you an example. We had a listing on there recently, which was great, which came from ChatGPT because someone's looking for something different. She's a candle maker. I listed a space. She wanted to make candles. I'm like, that's fantastic. It's exactly what I envisage the site to be. So people say to me, so how easy is this journey? You're a seasoned entrepreneur. You've built stuff. You've sold stuff. So how does this fit into your wheelhouse? I go, so this is about as easy as climbing Mount Everest in flip-flops. That's how easy it is. It's difficult. It's really difficult. It's not easy. And it's even less easy when you're bootstrapping it. So I think it does have a phenomenal place in the market. I think we're creating a new category. We're not just another listing site. I think it sits inside the wonderful mix of existing businesses that are there. But like anything, like any business, it takes time, persistence, effort, and money. And I understand how people and startups run out of two out of those that list very easily.
Well, yeah, it's an endless circle. I've done a few startups in the past, and the challenge that many engineers, not even in technology necessarily, but engineers in general, myself included, even though I'm not an engineer, but I sort of grew up with this engineering construction mentality, is that I'm always too busy thinking about how to build something. And then I never spend enough time thinking about how I'm going to sell it. With a
Well,
tech
when you
tool
build,
like that, selling it is probably even more important than building it.
so we spent a lot of time making it easy and intuitive to use because it's got to be friendly. If you don't look at it and it doesn't look warm, it doesn't look engaging, and doesn't look easy to use, or you have pictures of huge buildings and people go, that's not for me. So we spend a lot of time, and I mean years, really working out every color, every dot, every pixel. But at the back of my head, as I'm building this, I am thinking, how are you going to come to market? How are you going to monetize it? Um, and the execution is now where it's at. And this is obviously going to be the point where you succeed or fail and how long you're going to give it for. But it is encouraging every time you get a new listing that someone finds you. And not only that, the fact we're around and people are putting on free listings, they too benefit right off our back because those listings get additional free exposure for nothing for the people that are creating the listings. So it's win-win-win for them. The question that always makes me laugh, and this is one I guess you're going to come to, so I'll head it off now, which is how are you going to make money?
I was just about to ask you, how do you monetize it then if everything's free?
So so I always laugh because when I'm pitching someone the idea or telling them to go and list and it's all free, And and the next question you can see, they go, so how do you make money? And my response is, what, are you an investor? You want to know the cash flow? Like, why are you asking me? Is it because you want to copy me? Is it because you're interested? Because if I got $1 for every time someone says to me, how do you make money? I wouldn't need to work again. But the truth is this, like anything, once you have the marketplace, you can monetize it in so many ways, so many ways. Sponsorships, suppliers, insurance deals, because what will the two products that people need who are on the site, they'll need finance, they'll need insurance. So you know for sure you can do deals with those type of companies. Interestingly, people are pushing me to open up the supplier side of the site more quickly than I really want to do, because that you've got roofing companies that I'm in contact with, national businesses that say, listen, we love what you're doing. Can we be part of it? So I'm exploring those options actually a bit more quickly than I originally wanted. But it's a phenomenal business and a great opportunity for anyone in real estate. And yeah, we are looking for investors that would want to come in to own a piece of the next real estate listing site, because these don't pop up every day. And
That's
now I know
amazing.
why.
Let's take it full circle to real estate development, and
Yeah.
as my mind is racing as to how developers could use that, give me some more use cases. I'm
Okay.
building maybe an apartment building, maybe a duplex, maybe we have developers of all scales. Somebody's just trying to
Okay.
build a house and flip it, somebody's trying to build an apartment building.
So let's slice this immediately. Residential, off the table. No resi. Multifamily, off the table. All residential. This is commercial spaces and listings only. But if you're building a building and the ground floor is retail or offices on some floors, they're perfect. And as a developer, it's great. Put it on. Put your plans on. Put what it is on that you're building, like you would on any other site. This works in the same way as any other site. But what it would give you is give you flexibility to be able to carve up the floors differently potentially, and also get you to think a bit more as a developer. Because when you're building something, I went to a great new development of which was up in Fort Lauderdale. Um, the guy has taken about 6 acres of land, which was horrible industrial, smartened it up, built new 950 square foot retail units on a long slab, just broke them up. I think they were bigger, but he broke them up that way. Got famous artists to come down. Really beautiful site. Will be a go-to place. And it got me thinking, because as a one hand, you want today security of income, so you give people long leases. But you also have to think about the flexible community that exists, which also adds to the mix of any site, because you don't just want you need anchor tenants and you need the chains, of course you do. But in addition to that mix, it'd be nice to have a hybrid section of artisans that can come and go. Maybe you give them rolling 90-day leases or something, as part of the stable mix of income, because having those handmade chocolates or handmade leather goods or handmade jewelry, whatever the crafts are, adds to the experience of the whole retail environment.
Absolutely. Well, and it's the funny thing about residential. I primarily deal with residential. That's my experience. But so many times we would develop an apartment building or a condo building, put a little retail spot on the ground floor, and we have no idea what to do with it. We hire maybe a commercial broker. They would list it. We call it pimping. Put it on the multiple and pray. They put it on there. They do nothing about it, and I'm like,
Correct.
well,
It's not worth
right. It's
it's not
listed.
worth anything to them.
No, because it's small. Maybe
It
1,000 square feet at most. But
Yeah.
for me, it could potentially be a huge amenity, and everybody wants to see a nice coffee shop in their apartment building. Look, coffee
So
shops don't
so
want to
that's
go
what
into
so
apartment
that
buildings.
yeah, but that's what our site does. It pivots and lends itself to those bits of spaces as well as the traditional spaces. Look, if you've got an office, and this is what I also thought about at the beginning, and you've got a spare desk, and you're a surveyor or a lawyer, and you have a spare small office, 500 square foot office, and it's sitting there doing nothing, collecting dust, you now have the ability to go, this is the office space. This is the price we want, whatever it is. These are the terms we want. And if you're a lawyer and you said, actually, I only want another lawyer in my office, you can put special condition, office working for a lawyer. There are so many ways that you can monetize space now that were not available. And that is what this platform does. So if you've got a residential building and you've got ground floor and you want to put a separate gym operator in there, or a food operator, or coffee shop, or retail, whatever it's going to be, you have the ability to be able to pivot and talk to a market that might not have been looking or easily looking in the traditional spaces. So yeah, that's you're right. If you've got let's say 600 square feet, you go, who's really interested in taking it on? The brokers will go, not really interested. It sits, the bottom of priorities is as close to zero without being zero, because they've taken it on sitting there, not giving it much love. And this is like an umbrella platform for any type and size of commercial space, literally. Also, think of all the event spaces that you've got. Now, whilst you have specialist event websites out there, this is a place where you could monetize your hall, your community hall, your school hall, parking lot. If you've got a parking lot not doing much, or a piece of land, turn it into an event space, turn it into anything you want. Again, the ideas are limited to your own imagination. We give you that platform to release your imagination and then monetize it.
Do you help people with ideas? Like if I have a space and I don't know what to do with it, can you give me some ideas what I can do?
No, but what I would do is stick into ChatGPT. They'd be better than me. That's my first suggestion. No, look, I thought about all the different ways. I just want to be a phenomenal listing site. We give you back all the creativity. We give you back all the flexibility and all the tools to create the perfect listing for yourself. It's like a freeway or a highway. You're building a new highway, and you want it to be smooth. You want it to be frictionless. You want it to be easy to use. You want it to be intuitive. You want to go click, 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 upload, gone. And that's so I don't want to get distracted with anything other than the purity of building the greatest commercial listing experience, and super easy. Because I always joked, you know, if my mum could use it, bless her, then anyone could probably use it. And so that was always the test when I was building this thing. Could someone who isn't tech friendly, doesn't really understand much, but knows that they have some space, knows that they want to create a listing, those are the people that I was thinking about when I built it.
That's a good way of looking at it. Are you thinking of it? Are you trying to disrupt the typical commercial broker marketplace,
No,
or are
no,
you not
no,
trying to compete with them?
no, not at all. We're not brokers. We're not brokers. We don't offer anything other than a great listing experience. We don't sell anything. We don't offer anything. We just create that platform. So people in
But
the beginning
are you not
thought
trying to
we were
sorry to interrupt,
brokers.
sorry to interrupt, but are you not trying to divert traffic from a traditional brokerage? Like if I need to list a space, normally I would call a commercial broker and say list a space, or if I need to rent the space, I would call a commercial broker and I said I'm looking for this space. Uh, if I'm
So they will
hearing you
then have an
right,
option to list on
okay,
our platform as well. It's another option. It's just another strand that they have an ability, because we are creating, I think, a different market, a more expansive market, because brokers tend to talk to other brokers who are looking for on behalf of their clients. So we're encouraging them. We're saying, come and list on us in addition to whatever else you're doing. There's no cost apart from 3 minutes of listing. And then you get additional exposure because we're being found and discovered, as I said at the beginning, on search engines. No, we don't have any preference who should or who should not list. If it's commercial and it's monetizable, get it on.
I love it. I love it. How much traffic do you have?
So at the moment, I haven't looked at the figures recently. I'm very focused on this. Is still fairly new. We're in a startup position. So for me, number analysis is not as important as keeping my eye on the ball, which is keeping the traction and the visibility high. So frankly, my focus is very much who are we talking to, how are we saying it, and what reach can we get, rather than looking in the rear view mirror saying who's looking at what we're doing.
Right. What is the chicken or the egg in your business? Is it the owners to list, or is it the customers that are looking?
Both. And that's
Both.
what makes it, because in order to get a viable marketplace, you need the stock. Like having a store. If you haven't got enough stock, people walk in and go, place is empty, walk out. If you've got great stock and it's a beautiful space and you've got no one looking and walking through it, no footfall, you go. So and this is the hard part, and this is always the challenge. But I think if you are persistent and consistently doing the right things, this is not one and done. This is a long-term, this is a marathon and a long marathon, probably 2 marathons joined. But you've got to start somewhere. We've only been out the traps 5 months. So in spite of the newness of the site, I'm very happy with the work that we've done and the traction that we're collecting.
I love it. So it's only been 5 months since you released service to the public.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
We were doing a lot of tests, making sure the tech was working. And of course, as you said at the beginning, if anyone said to me, this is going to take you more money and more time, I'd say, forget it. If I can't bring it in on budget, on time, I should go for a walk. Yeah, so I went for a long walk.
Several times.
Several times and again, and then the journey again and again. Yeah, they're difficult. They are just difficult businesses. The tech in itself is always changing. You're not just looking at 2 different platforms between, let's say on the phones, between Android and Apple. And then again, all the different browsers that sit within those platforms. You then got laptops, you've got desktops, you've got iPads. So each time you make a change, you're really making 7 or 8 micro changes on the tech and making sure it's all displayed. It's painful and it's costly.
I can imagine. Did your mom try it?
She did all right. She did okay. Needed a little bit of help, but in the beginning we got through the listing. We did get through the listing. But look, I'm hopeful that it will get adopted because I think it genuinely has a commercial place. I think it has real value in helping people monetize spaces that are otherwise not easily and obviously monetizable. And the market's huge. And I think that once people start to know the possibilities of what they can do and the ease with which they can do it, they'll start listing. They will continue, not start, because people have got listings. They'll look at this site and say, yeah, what have we got to lose? And the answer is very, very little.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that, and especially for real estate guys like myself. Look, I've done tech, I've done startups. That was my, I call it hobby during the great financial crisis between 2009 and I want to say 2015. We were playing around with various tech startups because real estate wasn't doing anything. So I know enough to be dangerous. I've seen enough of that world. But I'm back in real estate, and the way I look at it is, if it's another tool in my arsenal, yeah, why wouldn't I use it? If I could expand my horizons, and I'd love to, spread the word, and hopefully this podcast is going to help others discover the service, whether they're looking for space or whether they need to list a space. And I wish you all the best, Steve. What else would you like to communicate to the audience, to the listeners, that would be important for them to know?
Spread the word for us. That would be great. Look, awareness is half the battle. And when you are a tiny little boat in a very big ocean, bobbing up and down, you need all the help that you can get. We try to make it frictionless. We've tried to make the listing easy. We believe that there is a huge market out there to help people genuinely rent space or sell space. And if you're looking for space, we've also made it really easy for people to list their requests if they're looking for space. So we've done the best that we can do. And now we have to continue our journey, which is people like you. And thank you for having me on today, helping us wave the flag and promote the cause.
This is super cool. What's the website again?
SoCommercial.com. Oh, I do have a jingle. We've got a great jingle. Should I play it to you or not? I don't know whether I should play it. Is it a secret? We haven't even launched it yet. Should I
sure.
play you? No, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm going to say, anyone that listens goes to my site, SoCommercial.com. Go to click jingle. Play the jingle. Feedback to Eugene. How good it is. I always say the jingle is more catchy than the flute. It is really, it's going to stay in your head all day. You listen to it once, you listen to it twice, and you're going to go, yeah, And you'll be sitting in the car, go, where did that come? It's just going to come back to you. So why don't you engage with your listeners and see if they're going to respond and let you know how catchy this tune is for the jingle.
I love it. So go to SoCommercial.com and check it out. Let me
Get
know.
your,
And if you hate it, blame Steve, not me.
by the way, go to social.com and get your listings on. That's the beginning of the jingle. There's a clue for you.
All right. And is there an app, I assume, too?
Coming soon.
Okay.
Soon. Yeah.
Cool. Steve Taylor, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Good luck. Thank you.